Well, the nightmare on Christmas. This game was horrible in every which facet. You lose to the Raiders on Christmas, and not only that, Aiden O'Connell didn't complete a pass past the first quarter, and you lost 20-14. You were down 17-7. You could not do anything wrong here, or rather anything right. It just kind of stinks. The stats look terrible from across the board. You have Patrick Mahomes, who had 44 passes, but only 235 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Pacheco, 11 carries, 26 yards, and 1 touchdown. Rashee Rice had 6 receptions, 57 yards. But guess what? There was times where he was open, they didn't hit him. There's times where I felt like they should have gotten the ball more. Like when you know you have that wide receiver one, I just don't understand why he isn't the focal point of your offense. I understand he's a rookie, but you got to give him more leeway. I mean, every time he got the ball today, he was getting extra yardage, getting out there. Aiden O'Connell played like booty cheeks. 9 for 21, 62 yards, and this guy won a football game. Now, Zamir White balled out, 22 carries for 145 yards. By the way, Jacoby Myers had 3 receptions for 42 yards, meaning that you held literally Devontae Adams to less than 20 yards, because I know other people had catches. Playoff picture doesn't really change, though. You're still in third. The Dolphins win, which means at this point, you're at best getting the 3 seed probably. I think you just went out trying to get the 3. Luckily, I mean, technically the Browns still have a chance to win the division over the Ravens, but the 1 seed is officially gone. You cannot get that anymore, which sucks. I don't think that was ever necessarily a real possibility, though. I think it was all kind of like a hope, a fever dream, and you don't get it today, that puts you down in the dumps. It just stinks because if I look at the offensive stats for the Raiders, this team won a football game with these stats. 205 yards, 48 passing yards, if you take away all the negatives. And this team won a football game. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the turnovers gave the Raiders 14 points. A pick 6 and a scoop and score allowed this Raiders team to score 14 points. They don't score those 14 points. Guess what? It's 14-6. I don't want to blame the offense, but I have to, because they scored the same amount of points they gave up. The defense, when they were on the field, gave up 6 points. Obviously, that last drive, the Raiders could have scored 3, but that's besides the point, because at that point, the game was already over. It didn't matter. 223 yards passing, and yet you can't do anything. You beat this team in every stat possible. Total yards, first downs, third down conversions. Penalties were a little bit more on your side because you had more. Possession time was yours. It's just wild that you lost this game. And I think it's not that the Raiders won. It's the Raiders' loss. Now, congrats to the Raiders. They did what it took to win. Chiefs didn't. They made mistakes. Raiders didn't make mistakes. Didn't do anything right. Didn't make mistakes. They also screwed me on my prize picks, though, which kind of sucks. But we'll tell you, I'm going to put in some more for the late night games here. Got the Eagles and Giants probably kicking off right now. Got the Niners and the Ravens. Should be a good game. Excited to put some prize picks on there. You can too. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Here are my picks, none of which hit. Travis Kelce, more on the receiving yards. Not even close. Patrick Mahomes, more on the passing yards. Not even close. Devontae Adams, more on the receiving yards. Not even close. That's all right, though. Put in more yards, or rather put some more on my entries later tonight. Have some fun. It makes the sports viewing experience really, really amped up. We also offer a reboot policy so that even if one of those players got injured, my entry would have still stayed in place. So for football and basketball, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and then does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So go check them out right now. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. What makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app? Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Shout out to PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. 27-44, 235. I felt at times he held onto the ball longer than he had to. I think he could have taken the under route a couple times. He just didn't. Took a couple sacks that probably he should have just thrown the ball away. Almost threw an interception on a pass that he should have thrown away. I don't want to say he is the reason the Chiefs lost this game because that is far from the truth, but he didn't help. He did carry the ball 10 times for 53 yards, which was nice, and he had to because Isaiah Pacheco was hurt. He's in concussion protocol. It sucks. Pacheco is in concussion protocol, and I just don't know what to say. Because he was the only running back, really. You have Pacheco. McKinnon was hurt. Clyde. Check out Pacheco. It's just Clyde. 4 carries, 6 yards. Luckily, he did have a couple of receptions. And overall, played decent. I don't think the stats really show what he did on the games, blocking and all that. But I want to go back to this point. Why don't we use Rashee Rice more? The kid had 107 yards against this Raiders team last time they played him. He had 6 receptions. I don't like what they're calling for him. He's the wide receiver 1. Give him the wide receiver 1 routes. Stop giving him these under routes and these little stupid dinky things. I like the screen passes. They threw one of them. Should have kept going with those. On top of which, you never let him go deep. And said when he gets to the end zone, we're going to throw a fade route to him. This is not a fade route type guy, I don't think. He's a wide receiver 1, but if you're throwing fade routes, we've seen it completed to Justin Ross. You didn't throw it to him. He completed one in the preseason. Rashee Rice didn't. Richie James is also doing pretty well since he's come back. He had 3 receptions for 54 yards this game. Had the one completion downfield that was really the turning point in the game for 45 yards. Unfortunately, though, it was a little too late. Too little too late. It unfortunately just could not get this to where the Chiefs were able to win this game. And it's hard to look at this team and say that they are a Super Bowl caliber team. It's hard to look at this team and say they are a playoff caliber team right now. The defense is good, and thank goodness it is. Because if the defense was not, it would be a big problem. Travis Kelce continues to kind of struggle. Had 44 yards, but 42 of it came in the first half. Had just 2 in the second. At the end of the day, it's just a game. And the Chiefs are still going to make the playoffs. And they can still make a run. It just stinks because every week you think this is the week they're going to figure it out. Because you see it. You see glimpses of it. But it never comes to fruition. Who's to blame for the loss here against Las Vegas? Is it Andy Reid? Is it Patrick Mahomes? Is it Travis Kelce? Is it Rashee Rice? I don't know. Get in the comment section. Maybe it's everyone. Let me know who is to blame for the loss versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Zamir White had a game. 22 carries, 145 yards. Guy was the reason the Raiders won this game. Homeboy really played well. Now he had like a 60 yards in that last drive. So credit to them. But just kind of crazy that a guy who averaged about 8 yards came in here and ran over you. Now I know Josh Jacobs was out, so he was the only running back, so that's why he got the carries. But it's just a little wild when you look at this and think that this guy doesn't play much, and he got 145 yards with you. Couldn't stop the run. I told you, the receiving game, literally non-existent. 3 receptions for Jacoby for 42. Hooper had 2 for 13, and Cole Fotheringham. There were 2 guys that had more receiving yards than Devontae Adams. And he lost this game. Your receivers weren't exactly the greatest. He had 3 guys at the top. Rashee Rice, 6 for 57. Richie James, 3 for 54. And Travis Kelce, 5 for 44. When the offense isn't working, you need to get your offense going with your top player, which is Rashee Rice. Throw screens. Get him the ball. Today, he was your best player. He caught an amazing pass. He did a lot of amazing things. Today, he was your best player, and he got the ball 6 times. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. It sucks, but at the same time, you're still going to make the playoffs. 1 seed was kind of close anyway, especially with the Dolphins winning yesterday. You can still get that 3, play well. Jaguars are kind of free-falling right now. All you got to do, win the next 2 games. You're the 3 seed. You're taking on the Bills at home. I'll take it, considering the season you've had. 20-14, the final score once again. Make sure you're subscribed. We're going to have you updated on everything going on with the Chiefs. We'll have a live show tomorrow at 3 p.m. Be here. Make sure you're joining us. We'll give you an update on Isaiah Pacheco, what we know. As of right now, he's in concussion protocol and not good. Had his helmet pop off and got kneed. We'll talk about it more tomorrow, but for now, peace out, Chiefs Kingdom. Merry Christmas.